Oh, 5:47. Yes, I still look like I'm near death. It's called being sick. Give this a minute and see if anybody shows up. I've been so sick for so long, I doubt many of you can still remember who I am and want to show up. Oh, look. We're here. Hey. I'm making me some tea. Gypsy, you caught me. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on tonight. Depends on how long my voice lasts. If I had like my laptop and everything set up, I would, but it's just me and my phone tonight. So that's why I'm not on StreamYard tonight. I'm being super lazy. I just wanted to come on and let y'all know that my family survived the storms that cut through Tennessee the other night. We actually had a couple of funnel clouds, about 6-7 miles from the house. If you know the way the mountain works, you know, I'm making tea. I've drank so much of this tea, and I'm fixing to make horrible noises with my honey, so just wait for it. So yeah, we had more tornadoes that came through the other night, and I look hideous. Like my hair is like doing its own thing today. But all those storms that came through Tennessee the other night, hi Dusty. If you know how it hits the plateau, then you kind of know where they're automatically going to go, especially if you grew up here and you grew up watching the storms hit the mountain and split. And so these storms were almost so high that they almost didn't have to hit the mountain and split. They almost just went right over the mountain, which is when the really bad stuff happens. But luckily, yeah, it's damp here tonight too. It's damp and cold. It's not super, super cold. Like I don't have a fire or anything. But it's just damp enough to be irritating when you've had the creepy crud. Yeah, I'm fixing to make honey noises. If it doesn't, it may be quiet. It's only 3 a.m. when I'm trying to make a quiet cup of tea that it sounds like somebody's having mad diarrhea in the kitchen. Y'all know what? That's just, you're trying to be so quiet and then the honey makes all the noises in the world. I don't get it. Anyway, so we were watching the storms and I was like, okay, well, how this splits, where it hits at the bottom of the hill is if I need to duck and cover and put my fat butt somewhere, or if I just need to listen for things to blow away outside and pay attention to pick them up tomorrow morning. Really lax when it comes to storms because I've grown up in some really horrible ones. So I get a phone call from my father, and all I can hear is the woo, 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 woo. And if you've been in tornadoes, you know that sound very well. And it's my dad going, it's stuck up here above us. It's above the farm, almost directly above the big field. It's not dropping, and he said, it's acting like it's going to go away. It's acting like it's weakening. I said, Dad, go inside. Well, I just wanted to let you know, it's a little one. It's not a big one. Okay, Dad, go inside your house. It's like, gee, Dad. So at that point, I knew that it was not going to be able to climb the hill, that it was going to hit the hill and fall apart. So I knew that it was going to stay north of me, so I wasn't super worried. But it still like knocked out half the county's electric and did some damage. It pulled a sheet of tin off the roof and popped it, so we're going to have to go back up there and loosen it and silicone and tighten everything. Someone else is going to go do it. And I feel ya. I've just now gotten to where I can not cough and talk. So I'm about a week ahead of you, Priscilla. It sucks. I'm sorry. And it's made my vertigo so much worse, which sucks. But anyway, so we're gonna have to fix that. But I got up the next morning and literally it broke 2 of my flagpoles. I had no patio furniture on my front porch left whatsoever. Everything was just wind blown and scooted straight off and dumped off the edge of the porch. All the cats were like, what the crap? why are you allowing the weather to renegotiate the furniture that we've come to lay on for months? And I'm like, listen, cats, just deal with it. But we got a lot of winds, and we got the straight line off the edge of the storm, which comes in big gusts. And so my yard is like, yeah, my yard is in a whole manner of mess right now. It amps back up the creepy crud that I've been dealing with. But luckily, it did not ever land anywhere around here. It just kind of bobbled on top of the mountain, on the edge of the mountain, and then flittered away. So it wasn't, by the time it got to us, it didn't have a lot of pumpkin left. So it wasn't a super bad storm, although it was bad enough. Oh, you're getting snazzy now watching me on your Roku. As I get to feeling better, I will go back to StreamYard and we will do the open dialogue stuff. But I just wanted to check in and chit-chat tonight because I got irritated today. I know I'm feeling better because I got irritated. Yes, Mayfield, Kentucky was absolutely demolished. And it's so sad because a lot of people that were injured or hurt or worse were actually still working extra shifts over the holidays to pick up the candle orders at the candle factory in their courthouse that had been there for, I mean, it was really old. Just, I mean, basically got split in half. It's really sad. And when you live in the boondocks like this, and these storms come through, you never know if they're going to be super bad. Like if it's going to sit down and plow a furrow, you know, through the next 5 counties, or if it's going to be bobble across the hills. And it's something that a lot of rural people don't talk about, but it's something that a lot of city people don't understand. If you live rural, you don't get a lot of weather updates. You don't get a lot of meteorological input. And so, like, they'll zero in when it's going over the bigger cities or the bigger counties and the more populated areas, but then they won't even come into the television to break when a tornado is going over a rural county. They just don't care. And so I wanted to let you all know that I found a great YouTube channel that I've been watching, and he's actually better than my weatherman from my local Nashville and Knoxville stations. And his name is Nate, N8, Nate Snyder, S-N-Y-D-E-R. And he does better weather monitoring than the freaking Weather Channel. So I've been watching him a lot. Yeah, tornadoes are just... We get lucky here because we get mostly just the small little whirly, we call them whirly gigs. But if one actually makes it long enough to get to the top of the mountain, it's normal, just utter devastation. So we have a hit or miss with them here. So we respect them, but we also, we watch them and we know how to use our discernment with them, but they're still scary things. But I've been watching Nate Snyder, and he does better weather prediction than the Weather Channel. I sent him money the other night on YouTube because he was on it even for my small area. He even went over my small area. And my local news wasn't even doing that. So I sent the boy money on YouTube. And I was like, screw this, I'm paying you. I'm telling you, if you can find these small channels, I mean, some of them have just as much education and they are just a lot easier to pay attention to because it seems like they care a little bit more. Yeah, I could never live in like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas. I've got family in Arkansas and I'm like, no thank you. That's literally where everything hits before it jumps the Mississippi and spins off. No thank you. I don't want to live on the landing strip. No thank you. I'll try not to make you laugh and cough so much. I can't do a whole lot myself or I'll end up coughing, making a big mess. But it was rough here the other night. I was afraid we were going to lose our electricity. Because, anytime the neighbor's dog pees on the tree, the electricity around here goes off. And it just goes off for no reason. Like, there'll be a tree fall in one of the rural junctures that crosses the mountain, and it'll take them 8 hours to fix it. And I'm just like, how about we hire more people or we fix that? And nobody seems to be too worried about it, except for me. So, but yeah, I got I'm a nice person most days. Most days. But when I don't feel well and you push stupidity, and y'all can tell I don't feel good. Like, my eyes are still like super, super swollen and cruddy. I sound horrible. But my tolerance for stupidity when I don't feel well goes just like nothing. It's just like nothing. And so this lady on the local Chit and Chatter on Facebook, which I abhor, because all it is a channel to start drama. They moved here from Michigan, red flag number one. They used to live in rural Michigan, and therefore they thought when they moved to this area, living outside of city limits would be less rural than what they experienced in Michigan. Red flag number two, because I'm sure Michigan gets way more money to tend to roads and area and has far more people that help attend to the city limits and the land than we do here. But they went on Facebook in this little podunk area to do the following. Does anyone know who is building the home off of the Highway 154? They've been doing this for a few months. They've actually brought in a crane. We don't know if they're drilling for oil or drilling for a well, but we're concerned because the crane showed up. I kid you not. That's what they said. And also somebody spent about 40 rounds of ammunition the other morning, and it concerned us because we only have several hundred acres between us and the other people that live next door. So if anyone knows who lives there, would you please let them know that we're concerned and we would like to know what's going on? To which immediately 99.9% of the county's population responded and said, F you, move back to Michigan. Which I thought was hilarious. Literally, that's what all of us were thinking. Move back already. And so everybody was like, why are you worried about a crane? And they're like, well, we're afraid we need to call the EPA because they're going to be doing something to disturb the groundwater. We're on the tippity top of the mountain, and the watershed is like literally halfway on down the mountain. We have no groundwater here. We literally have no groundwater here. And I said, did you ever think that the crane was to unload trusses for their cabin they're building? And that you don't use cranes when you dig a well? Because most people around here just spring pole a well. I don't understand what spring pole means. I know. That's why you need to move back to Michigan. I'm sorry. I try to be nice. But you know something? You're all up in your neighbor's business. And when your neighbor has several hundred acres and you have several hundred acres, and you try that overwhelmingly to stick your nose up their butt, something's wrong with you. So, we were all like, you need to move back. You don't need to be here. And so I just got on there and I said, out of just pure blank curiosity, have you walked next door when they're working on the property and asked? Well, no, we thought with them shooting weapons it was dangerous to do so. Well, honey, if you think hearing gunshots means everybody's armed, you definitely moved to the wrong place. And so I'm sitting here going, maybe you need to talk to your neighbor. Well, you don't know who they are. Well, do you think that perhaps you should go to the property assessor's office and ask who bought it and see if you can find who it is and ask them a few questions before you put all their business on the internet? Or it never disappears. And they're like, well, gee, we thought this place was friendlier than this. No. We like to keep ourselves safe and our families safe. You may think that means we're friendly and nice. It means we're well armed and we know exactly what property lines and boundaries are. Two things you obviously don't understand yet. Hi, welcome to the sticks. We don't like you. So we now have this new family that is all up in everybody's business. And finally law enforcement gets called, as they always do. And law enforcement is just trying to just reduce the issue and just say, hey, listen, we know you're uncomfortable. You moved to Podunkville. You're used to a populated area. The way that we live scares you. Guarantee you, we don't lose as many people as Michigan, so you need to just chill. To which they got offended. Everybody gets offended. It's always nowadays. So I just popped online and said, hey, I'm going to be the resident asshole. And I'm just going to say, you need to, number one, go introduce yourself to all your local businesses and tell them that you're new and that you're an implant from the north, because we will then apply a handicap to you for the next 5 years while you acclimate. Just saying, you need to do this immediately. Number two, you need to go and introduce yourself to each of your neighbors, and if they're not home, leave a calling card or something wedged in the door to introduce yourself so that they know how to contact you in case your dog gets loose, their dog gets loose, somebody's kids takes missing, or something's happening at the church you need to know about. Just, neighborly stuff like that. Number three, go get you a wildlife, fisheries, and hunting guide and game handbook and read it from cover to cover. And you are going to understand why you're going to hear all the noises and all the boom booms you hear for most areas during the year. You're also going to understand what you can and can't be squeamish about and what you can and can't cry foul about. And you're going to also understand why most of the people that drive up and down your road have a gun in the gun rack. It's not because they're surveilling you. It's because they're going hunting at the property their grandpa's owned for 15 years that has got slowly lotted up because rich people like you keep coming in and milking poor people for their land. They were very upset with me. Pause for a moment to let me tell you about how much I cared. Okay. So once they responded, I said, my natural urge is to ask you why you want to move to a small, safe, country place that looks like somewhere you would want to be, and then when you get there, turn it into nowhere you would want to be. If it looks good from afar, just come here and shut your mouth and pick up on what we do that makes it look good from afar. And it's just like, just shut your mouth. So, it was just, and we don't mind implants. We get a lot of implants. Most of them turn into great people and we love them. But here lately, this last year, some of them have been absolutely stupid. My grandpa has fainting goats that like to play on the kids' play school furniture, And I am assured that those fainting goats, even though they do such stupid things, because as soon as they go and play on those play school tack toys, those little tax toys, as soon as they jump on them, they make that sound, they're going to flip over and faint, and it's going to cause them to be down for 30 seconds where something could come and eat them. And I still know that those fainting goats are smarter than these northern implants. A lot. Yeah, here's your sign. So I worry about why these people make these decisions. Like, oh, that looks like a great place. They're not having any of the problems that I'm having here in this metropolis area. Let's move there. And then turn it into the metropolis area that we couldn't wait to get away from. So when she asked me what was the handy-dandiest thing she could do to fit in around here, I said it would be to dislodge the pewter corn cob that's up your behind. Because you moved here within 2 weeks, have an issue with everybody doing their own damn thing on their own damn yard with their own damn money and their own damn time. What is wrong with you people? And she's like, well, you're not a very nice person. I'm not. That's the one thing you got right since you moved here. Yeah, they want an HOA. Well, I won't even tell you what we call that. We have one HOA in this area. And legit, if you ever talk about the one HOA in this area, people will immediately spit on the ground and curse the devil. I mean, it's that bad. It's that bad. It's like we will all stop HOA. We hate them. We don't like to be told what to do around here because we all pretty much keep to ourselves. As long as we're doing it on our own land, what do you care? Now, the only time that I will have an issue is like some idiot is sighting in their deer rifle in their subdivision. That's when I will knock on somebody's home and go, are you a moron? Were you raised here? Because you sure ain't acting like it. And I will have a problem then. But for the most part, we have enough land buffer between us all that we kind of go, oh, they're just being stupid. They'll shut up in a couple hours, you know. And we leave people alone. Because the one thing that we do have here, we don't have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of say-so over what's going on in our nation, but we certainly do have the right to sit on our own property and keep our mouths shut and leave each other alone. And we practice that right daily. And we wish more people would too. So this poor Michigander is now all butthurt because she moved to Podunk and started picking on the Podunkers, and now nobody likes her, and nobody prepared her for this. Really, I would have thought kindergarten was great preparatory, like, foundation work for this. You know, nap time, you don't, like, poke your neighbor. You let them go to sleep. You let them do their own thing. You know, a little boundary there. Respect the boundary. Yeah, Karen. I think we got a lot of Karens and Kens that moved in. But I just thought it was just atrocious. Like, to go on a forum to out where this person is, what they're doing, that they're building, that they've got material on their property that is in a very rural area that could be thieved and cost somebody a lot of financial hurt. But they didn't understand any of that. They didn't understand. They just thought, you know, of their own well-being, and I need these answers. Well, in you getting your answers, you put somebody's new built home that is not secure in danger, and all the rented materials that I have there that are expensive in danger. And yeah, culture shock big time. And it was just like, I don't know if you just don't think about these things, or you're just stupid. But I'm going to need you to think about that for a few days and get back with me. Oh, y'all need to, yeah, everybody just needs to move down here and surround me so that I get a buffer from the stupidity. Oh, that's it. You have to understand that every community has their ways. And, like, I would not move to Brooklyn and be like, well, we're going to take this community plot of property and we're going to plant us 2 acres of corn. No, it's Brooklyn. It's Brooklyn. You all function differently. You have different needs and different desires and a different structure within your communal government and your ways. I'm going to shut my mouth for about 3 years and pay attention because I'm new. So I get really irritated when people come here and they don't understand what they're doing. So now these poor family, on top of having to deal with this neighbor that's being a butthole, has had to hire security for all the material that would have been just fine out there in Piddly because nobody knew about it. Now they've had to hire security for the night times so that nothing gets stolen. All because some idiot had to know everything that was going on. And I just really want to get up and, like, do a morning show on my Facebook. You know, like the Hee Haw, the broadcaster from Hee Haw. Last night, 7 goats ran down Wampus Cat Alley, and Linda Gulhaney from Brooklyn decided she needed to rescue said baby cats. Linda is now recovering in the Memorial Hospital. Flowers can be sent to room 734. You know, it's just like, I just want to get up and just talk about the stupidity that happens here when people move in and they don't pause for just a moment and go, I moved here because I saw some really intelligent things happening here. And I saw people living good lives because of that intelligence. Let me sit here with my mouth shut for at least 1 year and pay attention to these people. And then if I think something needs to be changed, I will open my mouth, but I'll try to do it in a way that matches their intelligence so I don't stick out like a sore thumb and make anybody feel super horrible. But we don't see that. We see people that come in and they think because they can bring in more money and get a plaque in the bank wall because they donated to something. It's just like Liz for president. They think that because they have more dollar signs, they should have more power. And I'm sitting here going, yo, those things are not equal. Just like, you know, legal and moral are two valuable things. They're not interchangeable. The first thing I do is I'd find Hunter Biden and I'd tan his little ass. And say, you know something, you need to keep your nose, your straw, and everything else out of everybody else's business. Sorry. I'm just, you know, he's selling $500,000. He's selling artwork for more than freaking Picasso and Van Gogh. As far as I know, he's still got both his ears. So, just wondering what happened there. Oh Lord. But you know, there's some really easy ways to turn this country around, and most of them are very simple. So you move from DC to Florida, yeah, you have to. There's a different timeline. It's redunculous. There's a different timeline in the country and in the city, and I gratefully respect that. I've lived in both, and there are strengths and weaknesses to each way of living. I tend to like to live out in the country more because with my career and the jobs that I did, I feel safer and more able to protect myself in the country. So I prefer to live out here where I have a little bit more buffer. If I was to take my husband to a city, he would wilt and die. Legit, wilt and die. On the plus side, my husband seems to be like the master of catching three-legged coyotes. So every year, he and all the other fur trappers in the area, they keep up with each other. And no other fur trapper in like 5 years has caught a three-legged coyote, but my husband is now on his third one. So we've got two. We've got two in the books, but there's a third one that showed up. We got a picture this morning, and literally as soon as he had checked everything and got back home, it sent him a new picture, and that stupid coyote was checking where he had been there. Three-legged. Well, I'm gonna name him Pogo. Three-legged as can be. Don't slow him down, not one nary bit. Now I'm telling you, he's still big and mean and hateful. But it is kind of funny. Well, it's not funny. It's kind of scary how they shadow my husband when he checks his traps, and like I'll see him past the cameras, and then in just a heartbeat, I'll see the coyotes past the cameras, and I'm like, they're legit 2 minutes behind you, and he's like, yeah, I know. So it's kind of eerie to, you know, they've gotten a little bit more brazen and bold, and they're getting bigger. We actually have gray wolves. We call them timber wolves. We actually have gray wolves that are actually, the DNA is starting to show up down here. Which means that our already very large coyotes are now blending in. They blend in with the red wolves back in the late 90s. Now they're blending in with the gray wolves that are moving down. And it's just scary how all these things occur. It's scary how the animals do their thing regardless. And it sneaks up on the on humankind. You know, I would love to visit like Maine and Vermont and even New York. I wouldn't want to stay there very long. To see it, because I think it has its charms. But I would have to leave very quickly. And a lot of it is just because of the differentiation that has been propagated over the last few years between political stances. Yeah, we have coy wolves. They were really bad in the late 90s when they released the red wolves in the Great Smoky Mountains, and they did not stay there. So they couldn't find them. And we had this guy call that said his livestock was being absolutely just trashed. I was in high school. And he asked if we could trap whatever was killing his livestock. So we trapped it, and lo and behold, we knew that was not a regular coyote. We knew that had red wolf in it. So we called the UT Wildlife Fisheries Biology people and sent in DNA and hair samples. And it was actually genetically related to the red wolves they had released. So they had bred out and come up into our neck of the woods because it's more rural and it's better hunting ground. And now we have gray wolf DNA showing up. And it's like, something just, send us to Kraken, because apparently we've got everything else going to breed into these things. And we also have large coyotes because they will often breed in with people's livestock dogs that go rogue. And so you'll get Great Pyrenees that get bred into coyotes. Now you get, even if it's just, an 8th Great Pyrenees bred into, primarily a coyote mom and dad, that 1/8 Great Pyrenees causes a lot of structural change. And they get big real quick. So we've got some huge coyotes, and they're very damaging. They're very, they cause a lot of issues with the livestock and domestic pets around here. Like, we have people that lose their dogs. I mean, and they've got the safer yards, and they get picked off. And so we've gotten to where we trap smaller areas now, because the coyotes are smart enough to go after domestic animals than livestock. So as a trapper, you end up trapping smaller areas because you have to go where, go where the game goes, and they see foo-foo as lunch. Yeah, you have to be careful. They go after, and if they start doing strange things and they change their habits a lot, yeah, you absolutely have to be watching for rabies, because it's dangerous. Lottie Doll, what's your completely random question? My soon-to-be son-in-law is from southern Georgia, and sometimes he tells me to slow down, so he has a much different lifestyle. But he loves to duck hunt, and so you literally can't take the boy anywhere but his head's looking straight up in the sky somewhere, and you're like, pay attention. He's constantly, did you see that? And I'm like, pay attention. Around here, the things that kill you are normally down here. Stop looking up in the sky. He went to help trap the other day, and his head was on a swivel all day looking for ducks. My husband got the biggest kick out of that. Well, I tell you what, I drank that tea, and now I've got to have a Mountain Dew because I'm waning down. Rabies is normally not an issue, but if it's seen once, we'll see it 500,000 times, and it becomes a prominent issue, and then we all have to work to get it under control. Okay, Lottie Doss says, my sister's mother-in-law passed away. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, wants to know if it's possible to make a throw blanket out of some of her old fur she had. You'll have to find somebody that has an industrial sewing machine or a leather machine. So if you know anybody that does leather work, or if you know somebody that does a lot of sewing that may have an industrial sewing machine, if it's a very good supple hide, then they should be able to do it. But I would probably look for leather workers first, and then the next thing I would tell you to do is to look up places to send hides to be tanned. A lot of the places that tan, that like do professional tanning, they also have other services that you would never guess until you called and asked them. And so if you can find somewhere that does professional leather tanning, call them and see if they know someone that could provide that service. Because it takes, like some of the old sewing machines from like the 50s and 60s, like my granny's old machine that I have here, would probably sew some leather stuff and do fine. But the new brother stuff that they have at Walmart, I'm sorry, no, it would crap out in 5 minutes. But the old women that used to do the industrial sewing at home, that have the big crank machines, they would probably work. But your best bet is leather craftsman, leather worker, or to look for professional tanners and call them and see if they offer service, because normally, other than just tanning, they offer almost everything that goes along with doing anything to a tan pie that can be done. Is Libby puny too? I'm here to tell you there's so much sickness going around, and it's not the beer flu, it's just sickness. And I don't care how adamant people will say to go get jib-jabbed. In the place that had no beer flu, none whatsoever, but as soon as they rolled out the jibby-jab, everybody said, 100%, we're all going to take it, we'll all do it. They all went, and they like had 99.9% jibby-jab. Like, only the people that medically could not were the ones that did not. Within 6 months, they've all got the beer flu. Not only just beer flu, they've got the highest numbers. But they're all vaccinated. It just, it don't smell right. It don't smell right. Oh yeah, an old shoe repair shop, they will have those machines as well. Don't know if they will have the skills, but they might know somebody that might. Like, I've had my husband ask me several times if I would attempt to make a coyote blanket. And while I think my granny's old machine that is just a monster, it probably could do it. The beer flu. The beer flu. I think my granny's old machine could probably hack it, but I don't want to break her machine because it was given to me and it's lived longer than I have, and I don't want to kill it. But some of the older machines were much better suited for harder work. Oh, is blessed or hard? And there's so much hate on YouTube. But I will also say this. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to have an unpopular opinion for 5 seconds because I have to think five or six different ways. I have seen a lot of hate on YouTube this year. It's been horrible. Like, I've seen people pounce on new creators, small creators, and really take advantage of people that are creating a different dialogue. But I have also seen a lot of people walk onto YouTube wanting to be offended. So they go to YouTube and they see this huge big platform and they get on YouTube and they're going to do these magical, wonderful things. And they get into their first live and somebody does some minuscule thing that in public they would have not even noticed. But because it's on their platform, YouTube, it's like chicken on a mic. And they're on it. And so they create this huge issue out of this little small speck of dust over here, And so a lot of people that are suffering from drama on YouTube is because they saw the drama and went, ooh, chicken on a June bug, and put themselves right in the middle of the drama. So when I was counseling people, a lot of people come in and they said, there's just so much drama in my life. Why is there so much drama in your life? Well, that's why I'm here, for you to tell me why there's so much drama in my life. Why would I know why there's so much drama in your life? You came here because you're having issues with drama, correct? Well, yeah. So when are you having those issues? Well, anytime I try to go out, I try to go to a community event, anytime I try to voice my opinion, and so just whenever you're awake, you're having drama. Well, yeah, pretty much anywhere I go. Well, does anyone else have this problem? No, it seems to be only me. Why do you think that other people don't have this problem? Well, I don't know. Maybe they don't care enough to voice their opinion. Is it an opinion or is it an attack? It's kind of like, and then they jump in the middle of it, and then they don't know how they got drugged in the middle of it, and I'm like, you were not drugged, you jumped. Full, 10 out of 10, you sunk that baby right through the net. And then they want to be, oh, boo-hoo, they hurt me. Well, part of putting yourself out on a platform is getting some reciprocal opinions, So not all the feedback I get is positive, 90% of it is, but I anticipate at least 10% negativity. But what do I focus on? The 90% positive, because the 10% negativity is not going to do anything but breed more discontent, and that's not what I'm here for. So I focus on the positive. So I watch people that are constantly in drama, and I look for the motive. And are you constantly there because you're defending something that needs to be defending, or you're standing up for someone that can't stand up for themselves, or are you constantly there because it's paying your emotional bills or your financial bills, or you're getting something from it? Pay attention. Watch people like that. Because there are a lot of people, that are dragging a lot of these missing people's names. Like, they're like, you don't say so-and-so's name every day. Nope. Not milking a dead cow. I'm sorry. If it's important and something has happened, I will bring the information to you all. But if nothing has changed, I'm not going to sit here and constantly bring it, and just to make you choke on it day after day after day. Now, there are some people that can do it respectfully. I don't think I could speak about somebody every day respectfully. I think it would eventually become a tacky issue with me, just because I have a rather tacky nature at times, I should be honest. Some people can do it graciously. Yeah, and some people just like to stir the pot and never lick the spoon. I'm a full believer that if you stir the pot, you should have to lick the spoon. And if you won't lick the spoon, you shouldn't be stirring the pot. So walk away. So I just try to not be in those predicaments. Hillbilly Lives Matter. Amen. We need t-shirts. I'm on your team. So just, pay attention to people and watch. And it's kind of the new chic thing to need a mental health day from YouTube. Now, there are days that I don't go on YouTube because I'm not conducive to society. I don't need to be on the internet, and it will not be a positive thing, so I just don't go on. But to say that you require a mental health day from something you have absolute control to go poop off, that's like me going, my hair got cut. It's understand what you are in control of. And if you are in control of it, don't ever make it look as though you're not, because you give your enemy every leverage and vantage point to take you down. So be in control of what you're in control of, and if you're not in control of it, shut your mouth and don't give away any clues that you're not in control of it, because that is a weakness. And then learn about how to control the things that you can't, you don't think you can control. But don't just voice them to God willy-nilly and everybody, because they'll take you down. This right here is a great platform. It's also a great mirror for people to see exactly how to come get you and make you their bitch. I'm just saying. And y'all know I'm real. I'm absolutely real. And so a lot of people go, well, why haven't you had the issues a lot of new people have had on YouTube? Because I choose not to have those issues. Because if you come at me and you bring me crap, I'm going to say no thank you. And I'm not going to dibble in your mud pie. And some people will jump right into them. I ain't going to. But on the other side of that, I have seen some very vindictive and hateful, vicious people on YouTube that should not have a platform. And they use it for absolute hate and vitriol. And they're horrible people. And I'm 100%, oh God, 200% aware that if you all saw them for 10 minutes, you would be able to tell who they are. Because you can just see the evil seep out of their pores. So, as much as the YouTube and all this platform is a blessing, it's to someone who has boundary issues or trust issues, it becomes a huge wedge in their life, because it becomes just yet another emotional thing they can't control. Make sure you got your ducks in a row before you go in here and tell anybody else to line their ducks up, because your ducks will take missing real quick. So, and as much as this should be used to bring people together, most of the time it's used as a wedge to push people apart. And so just, make sure you know where you put your energy and who you offer that energy to. And if someone is constantly bleeding you dry to support their drama, Tell them about it. You know, I would spend a lot more time on your channel if I didn't feel as though, you know, I was a human pacifier for someone who's putting their nose everywhere it shouldn't be and then asking for emotional help or financial help, or, you know. Self-help is a big thing. And that's something that in this nation, we've forgotten. Self-help. We're supposed to be so aware of other people's problems, we just obliterate our own. I'm sorry, if you were aware of your own, then other people would probably learn to obliterate their own. We wouldn't have to piggyback each other and pat each other on the back, and we wouldn't have to go through life wondering if we needed to, like, you know, bring a diaper bag for 40-year-olds. You know, then if we would just learn to take care of ourselves and monitor ourselves and say, nope, not today, or today I can handle this, or today I'm not even turning my phone on. Or if a lot of people just had the wherewithal to say, that doesn't seem quite right, so therefore I'm not going to put any energy there at all. That's a big thing. Is I see a lot of stuff on the internet every day, and I go, yeah, I'm just not even gonna respond or act like I saw that, because to give it any energy would be something. So I just, you know, sometimes it's best to just let stupid people go on their stupid ways and play their stupid games and burn their stupid candle out. And just don't even interfere. Just let them go. So, but yeah, YouTube has been a very toxic place this year. Very. Yeah. Energy vampires, that's it. Yeah, I ain't going there. No, what is it? Not my circus, not my monkeys, or something like that. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, Wayne, you know exactly. I go to a lot of channels that I don't agree with everything about, but I go to get a good perception about what's going on. But you know, you've seen me in the chats, never speaking maybe one word every 5 months. And if somebody was not paying close enough attention, or I didn't want to say hi to somebody, they would never know I was there and that I was paying attention. And I'm paying attention to know what to avoid. That's what I'm doing 9 times out of 10. But I pay a lot more attention and keep my mouth shut more than most people think. But now I know I don't have a problem speaking up if I need to speak up. But I've got a lot of opinions that probably are not popular. A lot of my opinions have to do with a lot of these people going around backwoods now and investigating rural areas and missing children and acting like they're sleuths. But if you take apart and you look for any positives they've done, there's nothing positive they've done. All it is a drama build-up, a money racket, and an emotional drama and support game. And then I swear the ringleader is somebody that is physically, I believe, physically dangerous, violent. And so I just choose to just kind of go, that's not my herd of people. Not even gonna go stand at the fence and look at that herd. I'm going the other way. And then I see a lot of people that get drawn right to it because they manipulate and they use these missing people's names and the information, and they may suck them in with one good video, and then they're going to take them through 10 months of crap. I'm sorry, my ROI with my emotional investment, that's not going to work. I need a little bit more positivity. I'm not going to give you my attention and then let you drag me through crap for 10 months. But a lot of people enjoy it. And it's because it pays their emotional bill somehow. They're getting something from it. So the next time you see somebody that you know they're constantly in drama, that they will follow the drama channels, they'll jump into any internet drama, and they will pivot and wiggle and put themselves right in the middle of it all. The next time they call and they tell you to help them or ask for help or watch for my name to be said here, go, why? Why? This was a problem 3 months ago, it was a problem 2 months ago, it was a problem last month, and here we are again. Why is this on repeat? Why is this an issue that you have to deal with? Not only you, but then you bring it to me, and now I'm supposed to deal with it too. Why? Why are we here again if it's such a problem? Because I can tell you how to make it a non-problem. Stop. Just stop. Before you click on that YouTube channel, did I have a positive experience there last time? Nope. Oh, well, unsubscribe. So it's that easy. And, you know, a lot of adults don't understand that. Dusty, absolutely. If you want to share that with me, you absolutely send it to me. And I will definitely respond to you. And if it's something that you want to keep between us, we'll keep it in email between us. And if it's something that you want to work on sharing, we'll work on sharing it. Just let me know in the email. I don't like for my name to be smudged. My name's all I got. It better reflect who I attempt to be, because if it's not, then I'm doing something wrong. And I will step in the middle of an argument and go put my name out your mouth. Because my name is all I have. I don't want it to be blemished. I'm not like these other people that create a persona that they can turn into anything. Who I am is pretty much straight up who I am in real life. And so when I bring you me, it's pretty much straight up me. If you were sitting on my front porch, this is probably about the same way I talk to you. And so I haven't created a spare me that you can ruin, so I don't want people to go there. I wouldn't want to do that to someone else, so I wouldn't want it done to me. And that's pretty much how I run. And by the time I get to a point where I have to take a stand on something, I have been really put through the ringer to where I have to create a line. And I will create a line and walk the other way. But I'm normally pretty savvy in my words to where people know when to leave me alone. Yeah, you only get one name. It better be good, and then you better keep it spotless. You know, because when I die, it's going to be me and the name on that stone. Well, I mean, what else do you get to take with you? Not much. Yep, Dusty, you go right ahead, send it to me in the email. It's watersworkload@gmail.com. And we'll keep it. We'll do a private email back and forth. Talk about it. Okay, so I've survived 2 tornadoes last week, another head cold, more vertigo. My poor husband is still just like the walking sick. He won't stop. And I swear, if I do not start feeling better, Christmas is going to just pass me by. I've got to get feeling better. I've got my craft stuff like all around the table. It's just to the point where I feel like getting up and functioning and focusing. And I'm hoping in the next day or two I feel like doing that, because I've got so much stuff I've got to get done. And Priscilla, I saw that you had messaged me and you are sick now too. So if you don't feel like going to town to get those couple of things, let me know and I'll send them to you. Because if it's just you not feeling well enough to go and run and get, I can get it to you. But I do have some projects that I want to do, and I've just got to feel better. And this evening was the first step to see if I could sit here and do a chew the fat session and say howdy and let you know what I've been going through. Jenna, honey, sounds like you're going through a lot too. It has just been terribly difficult since this mastoiditis and that fracture reopened up in that bone back there. I've got an old fracture that the mastoiditis reopened. I can't get the darn thing to heal, because every time I get snot or the weather changes, it causes the swelling in the move, and it won't heal. So I'm constantly having vertigo because of it. And now with the creepy crud and all this crap that's come through, it's just made it 100 times worse. And then I'll have to take like meclizine, which is anti-vertigo. It's an antivert medicine. And then I'm down for the count. I've got to take a nap, so I get nothing accomplished. So it's either feel sick and get nothing accomplished, or take the antivert medicine and be asleep and get nothing accomplished. Just like I can't get anything accomplished. So I had a small break in all this right before Thanksgiving. So I'm hoping if the weather cycle chills out a little bit, I'll get another small break. Because I've got several gnomes to make, and I've got some, a couple of other crafts to do, and I've got those trays that I wanted to share and show you all how I make them. Nobody's going to see any of their presents because nobody that is super close to me watches my crap on YouTube. They can barely tolerate me in real life, so they're not watching my YouTube videos. So I'm going to take you all through the process of creating all the gifts so that it's early enough if you see something you want to make, you can go and get the stuff and do it. So I'm trying to get myself amped back up with enough vitamin C to kill a cow so that I can get this stuff done. And I'm fighting my health so much this year. Just today, I mean, this year has been like the constant, never-ending day of health battles. It's just seems like every day is a new health battle for this year. And I'm really hoping that next spring, when the summer gets here, I'm hoping that I get like a healing session, because this summer I was sick all spring and summer, so my body did not get to kind of amp up and get ready for winter. So I went into winter at a deficit, and I'm struggling. So I'm hoping next spring and summer I get amped up and I get back on my normal health routine. I don't have an acupuncturist close enough to go to, although I've looked into it, but I do a lot of the Eastern medicine. I do a lot of the holistic. I do a lot of like the chiropractor, and I do a lot of the it's not really acupuncture, but it's pressure point. And then I do a lot of the herbal stuff straight from Mother Nature, because it normally does better with my body. Because if a medicine comes out of Big Pharma and it has 5 side effects, I will have all 5, plus a few more that will make the doctor scratch their head and wonder what happened. So I tend to shy away from a lot of medicine. But where I had this old injury get revamped with this mastoiditis this year, it has really knocked my system. And it is really taken a lot out of me to try to get healed. And it's been the roughest year in my entire adult life. And that is like, my children are 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day apart. So inside of just a year, I had over 40 hours of labor. And so for me to say that this has been the roughest year should tell y'all something. Daniel's here, and he's already saying I didn't do it. Whatever he did, he didn't do it. Daniel, are there as many people down under the mountain with this creepy crud as there are up here on top? Because my doctor is like, it's everywhere. And I guess it must be because literally everyone I'm talking to has got at least 3 to 4 family members that are sick. Y'all, I've got 3 quilts that are halfway made. I've got one for my friend Mr. Freestone that I've got to send to Prague when I get finished. I've got one for JJ Lawhorn's little girl. I made her baby quilt, and now I'm making her first big girl quilt, and I'm making it a blue thistle pattern because she's got strawberry blonde hair, and it's going to be gorgeous. It's taking me so long because it's such an intricate pattern. Oh my god, it's so intricate. And then I've got a patchwork scrap quilt that I'm using my scraps to make. It's literally going to be next year before I get them finished because I'm so far behind. Jenna, honey, we should become fast friends because constantly we sound like very similar creatures. I do a lot of the meditation at night too. I do my local honey. I just poured half of one in here too. I do a lot of local honey. I do a lot of like marshmallow root for inflammation. I do a lot of goldenrod tincture for when my bowels get messed up and probiotics get messed up. So I do a lot of backwoods remedies because I just don't trust. I'm not a very trusting person of Big Pharma. Yeah, so when I get my quilts closer to being done, Like right now I'm just in the process of making blocks, and then one I've got like maybe half of the top pieced. But when I get them closer to being done, then I'll show you. But right now they're just a hot mess. But I've got all of those going on, and I've got to get JJ's little girl, Juniper. I've got to get Juniper's done because it's her first big girl quilt, and she's going to be in her very first big girl bed very soon, so I need to get it done for her. I make my curtains too, and I'm wanting to make some black and white check the buffalo check with the tie-ups. You know, you just straight panel, pleat it, iron it, fold it up, and then tie it with a ribbon. And I thought, well, I'll just order them. Do you know they want like $40-something for a panel, which is literally $9 a fabric? And I was like, I can't do that. So now that's on my to-do list to make as well. So I'm just one of those people. I will not spend money. Daniel, you're cracking me up. Well, Daniel, I'm probably right behind you, so I may be sprouting appendages too. It's been bad. I mean, it's been horrible. And I assume since you're on here, you didn't get blown away the other night, so good to know. My dad called me on the cell phone standing below the funnel cloud, and all you could hear was boom, 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 boom of him. He goes, it's above the cow pasture. And I'm like, Dad, go in the house. My great-grandma was Cherokee, and so if we were sick, we took to great-grandma's, and great-grandma would take us out on what I called a ramble. And there was God and telling what she would brew and stick in our mouths, but we took it, and we always got better, so she must know what she was doing. Yeah, I refuse to spend money on something I can make, and, you know, I pretty much tell myself I can make anything, so I have a long line of things that I want to get done. I just need to feel better, because I don't normally feel this bad. Jenna, honey, you hang around here or you email me. It's watersworkload@gmail.com. You can email me anytime to chit-chat. Oh, we've got a left coaster in here. How are you doing? I've always wanted to go to Oregon. Not in any of the cities, but to see the coast. I don't think I would fit in the cities very well. I would stick out like a sore thumb. I am wanting to learn how to crochet. I know how to do granny squares. My mom would have me make them all the time when she was making Afghans and stuff. I just need to like revamp it because it's been so long. But then I want to learn how to do some other stuff because I'm trying to get my motor skills in my hands better. So just blame me. Daniel's blaming me. Just go ahead. Just gonna blame me for the home visits and drug screens. Okay. It's been a crappy year. I'm glad everybody else has had the same consensus. We're gonna have to turn this puppy around. Next year's gonna have to be better. I'm not willing to go through 2021 again. At all. My granny used to make the doilies, the lace tatting. The woman had. I don't have that much patience. I would love to see the ocean. I would love to see the left coast, and I would love to go on through. I would love to see like all the places, like all the Bigfoot. You know, the big stories from the area. Because I started watching. Shoot, what is his name? Well, I watched David Paulides, but I started watching Steve Isdell on the How to Hunt channel this year. And a lot of the stories he shows are from that area. And the only reason I started watching is because I started having freaking crap happen on my own property. And I was like, what the crap is going on here? So I started paying attention. Is that what she called you? You can be a hillbilly and be from anywhere. I fully believe that everybody has a hillbilly inside. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, yeah, God said, oh, you thought 2020 was bad? Well, here, let me show you how bad it can get. I learned the last year, do not pray for patience. In 2020, I learned, do not pray for patience, because God will make you have to learn it. So this whole year, I did not pray for patience. I've just kind of kept my head down. I just want it to stop. "2022 is going to be one of those. If you end up on my porch, you better have a reason to be here years." I think the entire nation is turning into that. Are we not? We're starting to fill out who are really good people and who are not. And like I can't tolerate. I used to watch like the congressional hearings and stuff, and I can't tolerate any of them anymore because it's just 5 minutes of these people, and I'm just like, he's useless. He's useless. You know. I cannot watch any political crap anymore because it is turned into just a circus, a clown show. And so I'm just like, I'm my body is training me about what to immediately throw away and what to spend my time on. And I think if I'm picking up on that, then a lot of other people must be doing the same thing. And if that's happening, then America is a nation of people that are currently honing their energy. And people better be careful. Because Americans, when we finally figure out where we're going to put our energy, it's going to be a big deal. And when we watch what's going on in Australia and some other places, we're like, nope. And a lot of people go, well, you know, America's not made a peep yet. Keyword there's yet. Yet. Most of us are sitting at home going, nope. So, well, I don't have cable or anything. I have a TV, but I only use it to like watch what I choose to watch. So I don't have like satellite or cable or anything like that. I have a TV basically so my YouTube will be big enough to not blind me. But I watch things around the world, and so I have a VPN account because I trust nobody and nothing. And so I go around the world and get my information. Australia is turning into basically just one big concentration camp. Whether you're sick or not, if they think you're sick or they think you're exposed, or if you're exposed, if you were possibly exposed to somebody who was exposed to somebody who was absolutely sick, then they're going to put you all in the camp. And while some people are saying it was a great experience, other people are like trying to climb the barbed wire to run away, and they're arresting the people that are leaving a camp that is supposed to be just for sick people, but the people that are trying to get away are not sick. It's just like, you ever see a dog just keep spinning before it lays down and then it moves on to a new place? It's because it smelled something just wrong there, and so it decided not worth it, moving on. Basically, the entire continent of Australia is that space where that dog was turning, and then we thought, yeah, something's wrong here. That's Australia right now. And the people are they're split down the middle. They're either saying, oh, it's not a big deal, or they're like, we can't get out of these freaking camps because they keep saying we're sick. And I'm like, well, why can't you fix this? Well, then there's, it turns out Australia's constitution, they left a lot of holes for governmental power and overreach. And that's what's happening. And so it's a great learning experience. It's great to watch and go, oh crap, pay attention. But it's very sad to watch people. There's only two views. Either it's horrific and people are being hauled away for no reason, or they're rich enough to where they can stay home, they can work from home, they get their groceries delivered, and nobody's coming to get them because they're in a gated community, and it's only affecting those people, so it's fine. Don't worry about it, it's fine. It's just affecting the sick people. But by and by, if you watch the news, the sick people are basically just the poor or the people under financial duress that can be herded like cattle and put into these facilities willy-nilly. And it's just sad to watch. It's sad to watch so many people see what's going on to their neighbor, yet not care enough to question it, to understand it more. They just go, oh, it must be fine. I'm sorry, if if a deer crosses my fence line and turns around and sniffs the wind, I'm going to go, what was that for? What did she scent? What do I need to be concerned about? I'm just one of those people. So for people in Australia to see their neighbors being dragged off and go, it's fine, they must be sick, and not care to check, it's just like, oh, you know, you got to have a real loose connotation of the word neighbor when that crap starts happening. That's it. Get you a VPN account. Trust no one. Trust no national news. Get a VPN account and go around the world and take a consensus of what is being said. Stick it all in your brain and muddle it up, and that's about what's going on. So, you know, when we should all be concerned, you know, when Adam Schiff, who has lied to us and given us so many parodies over the last 3 years, is still standing up as a representative from California and spewing crap and still trying to funnel the Russian hoax crap. It's just like, when does the ride change? Is this still working? And if it is still working, that should give us some idea of how many stupid people are in our nation that will allow stupidity to dictate what's going on with our people. And if there are that many stupid people here in this nation, we need to all be concerned, because we've been on the same little kiddie ride for the last 4 or 5 years, and they've not changed anything, and it's still working. Why is it still working? And thank goodness some people are starting to now be held accountable. But again, I say, are they really being held accountable, or is it just to go, oh hush, here, sure, we'll give you a win or two, just shut up? I honestly think they're just giving us a win or two to make us shut up. But we should all be very concerned about what's going on around the world. And if you don't know what's going on around the world, get you a VPN account. Look into Israel, look into Gibraltar, look into, oh gosh, start watching Spain. Start watching these places. Watch the Vatican backpedal in fear. Start watching these places and then ask some big questions. Yeah, besides just a cute little bunny run away, right? Yeah. There's a lot going on, and I am really concerned that we live in a nation that have so many stupid people that think, oh, but the smart people are in control. Have you paid attention for 5 minutes to the people that are in control? Because they're not smart. And the only reason they're in control is because of financial powers that be. Amen, Daniel. And I get concerned. I get concerned when people say, "Oh, you know, but they're in control for a reason." Yeah, have you researched the reason? Jenna, amen. Our military has been neutered. Well, I mean, really, if you want to talk about it, the male race has been. Yeah, well, Dusty Blue, you're spot on. Did you know that before 2014 it was illegal to pull a psyop on the American people? But did you know that Barack Obama changed all that? He rewrote all that to where now it is perfectly illegal to pull psyops on the American people. And guess what has happened since 2014? Psyops. Bunch of crap. Problem after problem. Psychologically torment these people and milk them to where they have nothing more to give us, and we can have whatever we want because they are so absolutely mentally incapacitated. Why are we mentally incapacitated? Because you keep sniffing the glue they're selling. Just stop buying the freaking glue. It's like, stop it. It's like if somebody kept selling you apples that made you sick, would you keep buying them? No, I hope to God not. And if you would, cull yourself from, the breeding program immediately. But nothing that our government has done in the last few years has been beneficial to our nation. Matter of fact, it's been set to tear us apart. all because the people spoke and they didn't like what the people had to say. So rather than allow the people to dictate, let's just burn it down. That's like two kids that want a kitten. The one kid goes, "I'll let the other kid have it." And the other kid goes, "No, we could tear it in half and each of us have part of it." You can pick the bad kid out, right? It should be that easy politically at this point. Yep. And, you know, you watch Jen suck a big and socky get up there and lie to people daily. Daily. And it's just like, you know, honey, you got some honey lips, but boy, when you split hell wide open, I want popcorn in a front row seat. Because it's going to be bad. These people do not have, they do not have good intentions. They do not have good intentions, and they do not have anyone besides themselves listed in a position of power or even concern. They're just, it's all about them. And I'm just sitting here going, you know, pay attention. I know how, I read the end of the book. A lot of people need to. But there's still a lot that could be done that is not being done, and it's because people have been put into a place where they've been taught how to feel defenseless and taught how to feel owned, and so they just welcome it because it's too much trouble to be your own person. And so we've said that men can't be masculine. Men can't be masculine, or they're toxic. Women can be masculine, but only if they want to be men. But women that want to be a woman and be masculine are just a whole different ballpark, you know. And then we've got people that need to have their own pronouns, and you need to call them by their pronouns, but they can make up the pronouns in their head, so they don't have to tell you what their pronouns are, but by God, you better know it or you're in trouble. And I'm sitting here going, there's no wonder the world's falling to crap. We're so stuck on these little personal ticks that mean nothing, give no power, and get you nowhere in life. They just make you feel a little bit better for 5 seconds, and you're so stuck on that little serotonin boost, that little adrenaline blip, that you overlook life-changing, world-changing things that you have the power to do. And it's like, can you not see that the amount of time that you spend worrying about your pronouns, if you had placed it onto a community program to benefit education, then maybe 60% more of your graduating seniors in your area would have gone to college. Maybe, 10% less would have failed out and then never gotten a job, never learned, because they can't read well enough, fallen on drugs and hard times, and then put in the prison system. These small little power moments that you spend blowing smoke up your own honey in, if you had spent it doing something that's overwhelmingly positive for the human race, it's power, man. It's put it together and it's power. But we would rather take it apart and use this little 5 seconds to make us feel good instead of give 5 seconds to help other people feel good and improve everything. I just want to improve it for me. And it's just like, man, that 5 seconds that you've spent thinking about pronouns that are non-existent, fake, fictitious words would have done a heck of a lot for a domestic abuse survivor. In a program that you could have served a dinner and made somebody else feel respected for 5 minutes. It put Fauci in jail. That's a nice place for him. And I don't understand how people, and then how they can say it's so important for you to know my pronouns. No, it's not. Tell me one thing it changes for me. There has not been one, there's been one relationship in my life that my pronoun has directly affected. And that was with my gynecologist who delivered my children. It has effectively caused no problems in any other relationship I've ever had. Let's just be honest, folks. If the world is dictated by what you've got in your britches, then where is your brain? Where's your brain? In your britches, in the rag and rut, edging on to hell. Well, that's just part of it. If you can spend that much time in a self-serving and almost defamatory relationship with yourself, because all you do is tear yourself apart and pick yourself apart and open the doors so that other people can pick you apart, but you think you're empowering yourself, and you're not. You're just picking yourself apart. If that is what is most important in the USA, well, there's no wonder we're all headed down the I-75 to Hades. I mean, it's exactly, you say, it's exactly what China and these other nations did to start breaking down. You know, if you could start to break down how people feel about themselves and how they relate to each other and the family build up, and you can start to mock that and create this inner tension where there should not be any at all, because it don't amount to a hill of beans who you are, who you love, who you marry, who you don't, who you spend your time with. It shouldn't matter. But because we force focus on this, everything else is going up around us, and we don't notice because we're stuck on ourselves. They've got us stuck on ourselves because they don't want us to see what's going on around us. Boy, you got to chime in. But also realize that there is no power in a pronoun. It's a word. It's a make-believe word. Most of them ain't even on Wikipedia. How should that make you feel? Stupid for spending your time to create a false narrative that fuels some kind of indoctrination for yourself that doesn't even exist so that you can feel important. You made it up out of thin air. You might as well have farted and said, look, I work for Glade. Because that's about how it is. That, you know, we're all stuck on these, you know, how we identify it. No. We are a clump of cells that are just smart enough to potentially not ruin the speck of dirt we're riding through the atmosphere on. But you're worried about how people might perceive what's in your britches, even though you're probably only ever going to show it to 2 people in your whole entire life. I'm just sorry. I'm just, you know, there's something, you know, about, you know, where you spend your time is where your focus is. And if your focus is that far down in your britches, what are you doing with your time? And then we wonder why we have a whole system, a whole nation of sex offenders. If you teach a dog to drag his butt across the carpet, everybody's going to have a brown carpet too. It's not rocket science. Nobody else will say these things. It's just like dirt. So I get really frustrated when there's, you know, this common sense, but there it is, and everybody else is like, this is just, you know, I have my master's in psychology. I understand the psychobabble bullcrap they spew upon you all. Most of it is to entrap you and to pull you back and to control you. I refuse to allow that to happen. I'm sorry. I fully believe that if God gave me just more than 2 wrinkles in my brain, then I should probably continue to add more. I have always been one of these people that's been like, don't tell me no, and don't tell me how you think I should think. Let me think for myself, and I want you to think for yourself. And then as I've gotten older, I've realized that stupid people can't think for themselves, that they always need to piggyback on somebody to freedom. But all we've done as a nation is turn inward to where everybody's self-serve. So nobody's been given piggyback rides to freedom. Well, by God, somebody climb on top of me, because I will pack you across the barbed wire fence of stupidity. Because I'm getting real tired of steeping in stupid in this nation. And it's getting real irritating, to be quite honest. So, you know, if we could just spend 5 seconds and not worry about your pronouns, watch any breaches, or what your cup size is, or what Victoria's Secret's holding the sale next week, you could just look at people and go, as a mass conglomerate of individuals, we are struggling. We are struggling to show respect, love, to show courage, and to make sure that the world the world is a positive place. Why? If we would just spend 5 seconds a day, everybody, just thinking about that rather than worrying about pronouns, or if the kid in geometry class thinks they're cute, the world would just be such a better place. You know, but they've got us, you know, we've all been tagged, and they know the ones that are stupid, because they send the mass propaganda that way. And that's why the cartoons and the books, and even the education curriculum is catered to just continually keep these stupid people in this self-serving bind, so that they do not wake up and break out and use any kind of mental capacity for anything other than keeping themselves busy, so the world can be dictated by those that think they deserve to. You know, and so, you know, I have one view of dictators, and it's that they got by their name honest. And I don't ever want to meet one, because it will not be a nice day. So, but nobody wants to say these things. Everybody has to, oh, you need to find a nice way, a non-scarring way to say this. I'm sorry, there is no way psychologically you can voice your opinion without scarring someone else. It just can't happen. It's impossible, because we're all too different. But you want to know something that we do share? We're different. And why don't we embrace that? Oh, because it's the one thing they've harnessed. But I mean, there's been people sitting behind science organizations pulling power and money to start these little social experiments to say, oh, but we think somebody can do this, or we think you can call yourself this, or we think you should be able to have this, or you should be able to create this for yourself, and other people immediately respect it, and if they don't, they're a horrible person. And they set these little tiny ships out to sail in society, and the stupid people grab hold of them, and they grow them bigger and bigger and bigger. Imagine if those few people that are so weak-minded just had one moment of awakening, and we could get them to stop focusing on the stupidity. Man, we'd have some power. But that's why we have so many things to distract us, because they know we would have that power. You don't think it's powerful? Literature has survived thousands of years because of its power and potency and ability to change governments. Those books became poems, became songs, became other mainstream media forms of expression that they still restrict. Did you try to watch Tom MacDonald's new song last week? No, they stifled it for 3 whole days. Wonder why? Because they said it was because it was a nude male. He was never naked, and he was far less atrocious than most of those women in the rap videos. Is because he has words that need to be heard, and so they have to find a way to stifle. If we really understood the power that we all had, just in to talk to people like this, they wouldn't be able to stop us. Hey, Jenna, you and me are on the same wavelength. But nobody takes the time to realize their own power unless it's connected to their ding-a-lang. And then I look at people and go, you do realize that's just a whole nother distraction. But, you know, hey, whatever. Yeah, oh yeah. I used to have a shirt on, I used to do t-shirts, and I had a shirt on I used to like the t-shirt shops, and one of my shirts said, "Kiss my Atticus." Yeah, like people have never read, and you sit down and you go, well, let's have a theological discussion, and they start with some current idea, and I'm like, no, honey, we're talking about the theologians of days gone by that started the entire thought process, and because they're entrapped, and they're entrapped in this little snare that society has set. Make you stupid and hold you here and make you completely worried about, your sex, your sexual identity, Or if you're a minor attracted person, we've got to change these words. And I'm sitting here going, just call it what it is. It's sin and stupidity. Just call it what it is. And I bet nobody will let you have that conversation. We can have 5,000 conversations why somebody should be able to be attracted to minors. But if I get on here and watch this YouTube, snip me from above, if I get on here and say that you should hold yourself accountable to a higher power, I don't care if that higher power is your cat Booger. As long as you're accountable to something other than yourself, it will hold you in a better placement for life. You will have a more positively structured lifestyle. You will have a more bountiful emotional life. Snip, snip, snip. We can't talk about things like that, but you can talk all day why you should be able to have some kind of love affair with somebody that's not out of diapers. And that's fine. Okay. Not. And so, but people don't want to have those conversations. Somebody might think I'm upset with my nation. Ding dong, I'm upset with my nation. I've been in an abusive relationship with my government for at least a decade. So, and people say, well, you shouldn't talk about it. Somebody will come get you. Do you not think that's the end game plan anyway? Is me saying it now going to change anything that they've already got on the rosters to happen? No, I just want to make that day as unpleasant for them as possible. So we really have to, we have to start looking at this. And then, people say, well, people get on YouTube and, the movements. And that's why 99% of people get on YouTube do negative things. They won't talk about actual power that you have. They won't talk about actual intelligence. They won't talk about any kind of reformation of any kind of thing going on in our nation, because we can only talk about pedophilia, minor attracted people, and sexual identity crisis issues. Why? Because those don't amount to a hill of beans in the real world. But they want you to put your power there because they want to keep you distracted. Oh yeah, I do my own thing. People can get over or whatever, I don't care. Triple T has got some really good lives. I don't always agree with everything Triple T says, but I like to listen to him because I have a level of respect for what he has gone through in life and what he has witnessed and done. So I know when he speaks, I probably need to listen because he has seen by far way more than I have. So there are certain people when they speak, you should shut up and listen. Daniel, honey, I'm excited for you. You should be careful on the road. Make sure you check in so we know you're okay. Hey, we'll help her get over the culture shock if she comes to Tennessee. I promise. I will be a good custodian. Annette, dead on. So I get really frustrated when people say we can't change, or we're just riding the wave. No, honey, we are the power. We are the people. But until people realize that, the power is in numbers. And what's the numbers doing? They're checking to see what's in their britches and creating pronouns that don't exist. Now, how stupid do you think they feel? How stupid do you think they feel? I mean, if one person that just listened to my rant woke up, how stupid do you think they feel for the last 10 years that they've been fighting a fake sexual revolution to create words that don't matter, to be listed in a Wikipedia that will be erased by whatever power takes control next, and so that they can be sexually attracted to whoever they want to be, even though all of that they could have done with their mouth quiet, and with absolute no interaction with anyone else. But they were told they had to completely dedicate their life to that, and then they missed everything else that went on. And then they just listened to my rant, and they just realized they spent 10 years trying to force people to allow them to do what they could have done on their own every goddamn day and just kept their mouth shut about. And then they missed the train, and now they're living in a society that they absolutely feel that they have no control over. Well, get your head out of your hiney, and literally get your head out of your pants. Stop worrying about watching your drawers. Stop worrying about who's bonking who. Stop worrying about if we need to call sex offenders a more friendlier term. Stop worrying about things that have been rehashed, and let's deal with real issues. Let's start wondering about where our money's going in this nation. Let's start wondering about why we're having more children disappear annually than any other landmass on the freaking earth. Let's wonder why our sovereign left $80 billion of come kill me material laying in the desert. You know, let's ask these real questions. Oh, we're not allowed to. But I can tell you what pronoun you must call me. And I can tell you what I feel I might have in my britches, and you have to respect that. But I can't ask my president anything. Daniel, yeah, you're going to be one of those that's going to be completely spoiling her rotten. You're going to be Twitter pated. I can done see that right now. Well, I hope that you have I hope that somebody has a positive relationship spawn in this craptastic world. That would make me feel so much better to know that somebody has a positive something fuel from the crap that is around us right now. Because, you know something, if you can create a positive relationship out of what's going on in 2021 and 2022 that's coming up, we can all do it, by God. We need a playlist for Daniel on his ride, on his drive. We need a fall in love playlist. That's what everybody needs to like. Give a song. What is the good? God, I don't listen to a lot of love songs. I'm more of like death metal or banjo picking. I'm like musically bipolar. Let me see here. Oh, 1 Year of Love by Queen. That's, you know, that's a go-to. You gotta listen to that one. Want to get a little steamy, listen to Body Language by Queen. I get a little steamy. Let's see. Any genre, but it's got to be a good love song. It's gotta make you have a little Fishing in the Dark by Nitty Gritty. I mean, you gotta have that. That's just, if you're country, that's necessity right there. Ooh, Shenandoah's I Want to Be Loved Like That. That's basically, if I could have had a theme for my wedding, that would have been the song for my wedding. Ooh, Elvis, classic. I know I was preaching. Somebody should have passed the dish. Well, I'm Snugglepuss. I'm getting revved up now, so I'm feeling better, but I'm still so full of snot I can't do anything. I'm getting better. I'm hoping in the next day or two to start doing the craft tutorials, and so I can preach less and do more craft tutorials. I'm preaching tonight. I swear, I don't know where I got a soapbox big enough to hold me, but I sure found one this evening. It's dandy. Daniel, hey, if I feel better, I'm super up to meeting. You know where I am. We can split the difference. You ought to go take her and show her the grist mill down there, Alvinson, York, and I can come say howdy. That's a pretty sight. We need more love songs, y'all. He's gonna have a long road trip. We need more love songs. Literally anything off the Estranged album by Guns N' Roses. That's how I am. I'm weird. Am I weird? I'm so snotty. I'm so snotty, and I've worked up a sweat from where I've been yapping this evening, but I am having more come out than seems to be generating, so that's good. I don't know who the snot gods are, but if they could stop blessing me, that would be great. It'd just be lovely. Ooh, Redneck Girl by the Bellamy Brothers. So, we've got plenty of time then to do this and do this right. We've got almost an entire month to get you a playlist so you can get everything lined up. Now, you're going to have to throw some upchurch on there, just because if you try to take a young lady on a road trip and you don't represent, then we're going to have problems. So you have to have some upchurch on there. Oh, Thought I Loved You Then by Brad Paisley. What was that? Shoot, that guy that sang country music and they found out he was gay all those years later, Ty Herndon. I had to talk myself through that process to come up with his name. I don't know why. I thought he was the most elegant man, and now I understand why. He was very elegant because he did his eyebrows and hair, and he was very elegant. What Mattered the Most by Ty Herndon. That was always a pretty song. I always liked that one when I was young. Tequila makes your clothes fall off. I like some old school Mel McDaniel's Baby Makes Her Blue Jeans Talk. That is Mel McDaniel's, ain't it? That's digging down. That's from my childhood. That's from where I was just starting to pay attention to music. That was some good music. I had an urge the other night and had to turn on the Highwaymen. What was it? Chris Christopherson and Waylon and Johnny Cash. I had to listen to that the other day. Just because, I don't know, I just had a moment, had to listen to it. Oh, there you go. 'Cause I Love You. Johnny June classic right there. Man, there's so many good old songs. Even you get in the 90s with what is that song? What Might Have Been by Little Texas. What Might Have Been. That's a beautiful song. But now I'm like, if you go through my Jeep, if you go through my saved music on my Jeep, it's like Kid Rock, like my kids were tiny and they would say, "Say it again, Mom," and I would go through the ball with the ball to bang to bang, because they had to learn how to say it correctly because I couldn't let them say it wrong. But it goes through like Kid Rock, it goes through Belly of the Beast by Danzig, it goes through Cemetery Gates by Pantera. Like, I'm one of those people. Like, my husband gets in my Jeep and he's like, turns the music down because it scares him. So I listen to the harsher music, and my husband sometimes is concerned about my mental state. Because he'll get in and he'll be like, "That was a scary song," and I'm like, "No, it wasn't." I'm telling you, we're going to come up with this list. I'm going to start a community post, and we're all going to put our songs on the community post, and we're going to get a pretty decent playlist together. And then all you've got to do is program it in and plug in and go. You're ready to go. And then, like, don't freak her out, but then you, like, introduce her to us a little at a time so we don't freak her out. Because, we're a bit much. As a family, we're a bit much. If you can keep the classical to the stuff that won't make him fall asleep on the road. I have that problem when I listen to classical music because I will just fall asleep. See, I don't listen to Mises a lot, so that's something I need to be educated on. I was listening to Jelly Roll the other day, and my daughter's fiance started singing in, and I looked at him and I was like, "I like you more now." He just kind of laughed. But yeah, music is a very important thing to me. Music is one of those ways you can quietly get your point across without everybody figuring out you're getting your point across. So if you ask my children songs that like they remember me playing and laughing about when like they were growing up, because I never stifled my kids from music. If it was something they shouldn't repeat, we would talk about why they shouldn't repeat it. But I would let them listen to anything as long as it did not create bad behavior. And my son would all the time say that when he would hear that Bloodhound Gang Legend in my spare time, he was like, "Mom, I swear that just is like your theme song." And then there was I had a song when I would go to work and have a very bad day, and it was by the Bloodhound Gang too. When I would have a very bad day, it was called Fire, Water, Burn. Please do not listen to that song unless you have tough skin. When I had a bad day, or I had a bad parole hearing, or I had to drive from a prison, and I had a 4-hour drive after a revocation hearing that didn't go my way, and either got spat on or cussed when I was walking the prison hallways, I'd listen to that song coming home. And my kids were, well, I got in trouble. My son got in trouble one day, and he called to get me. They tried to get him in trouble because I had bought him a Lamb of God shirt, and it didn't have anything bad on it. It was just, probably a little bit louder than what this area would generally put on a teenager. But it was just some artistry, and it said Lamb of God. You really had to infer a negative connotation if you wanted there to be one. And the principal called me, and he was like, "I'm going to have your son turn his shirt inside out." I said, "Why?" I said, "There's no trademarking. There's no issues. There's no bad words." Well, it's Lamb of God. Okay, well, the Bible says Lamb of God 500,000 times. What's wrong with that phrase? Well, it's because this phrase means something else. Oh, does it? Where are you inferring that phrase from? Because all I see is some artistry work in Lamb of God. And they're like, "Well, it has to do with some music that we find distasteful." Okay, so you've researched music for 5 minutes and you find it distasteful, so it should be distasteful to me and my son, and he should have to turn his... And I'm like, I'm just concerned that you saw Lamb of God and some artwork and decided to attack my child and turn this into a political issue and a religious issue, when really it should just be an art issue, and it's 3 words that nobody should be like so signaled, so triggered by. And I was like, so if you're going to make him turn his Lamb of God shirt inside out, then everyone else that has any kind of Bible verse or anything on their shirt, I would like their shirts turned inside out as well. And I'm going to ask my son to go through the day and to take stock of who has these shirts on and who is and is not being made to do this. I said, because I believe you're signaling my child out. And by the time I got done talking, the principal was like, "We don't have a problem anymore. He can wear it. It's fine." And so I was one of those parents. But at the same time, like if something they listened to created bad behavior, or they started using the music and using phrases and being coy, and I'd be like, "Okay, we're shutting that one down because, we ain't having that." But luckily I had good kids that really didn't stretch it. But hi, Denise. Denise, honey, we have had an evening. You missed it. I've been on a soapbox for at least an hour and a half. And Daniel's shared his love life with us, and we're all getting a playlist together for his ride to go pick up his new love. And then we're going to have to strategically introduce ourselves because we may scare her off. We really may just like set her going. So we're going to have to be very careful how we introduce ourselves. And Oscar just dropped something in the living room. Oh, you got the beer flu? My son and his wife had it last week. Luckily, I've caught everything but that. Knock on wood. And they literally were like, we felt fine except for we couldn't smell or taste anything. And so we had to, I couldn't be around him for 10 days. And that just lifted today. And he came by the house to work in the building, but he didn't come in the house. He just worked in the shop. Ooh, and Pat Benatar, Love is a Battlefield. What is that other one that's Warrior, but it's not Pat Benatar? Crap. Who is that woman? See, I'll be thinking about that at 3 a.m. That's how my brain works. But they couldn't smell or taste. But now they're also very young and very healthy, so bless your heart. So can you tell the infusion's helping then? Introduce yourself by mail. Patty Smith, hey. That's it, I'm the warrior. I'm so glad you all think like me. I tell you, the one thing that everybody has told me for this stupid beer flu is to absolutely perk up the vitamin C, the zinc, and I did an elderberry with zinc and then calcium and magnesium, and to boost those while you have it. Well, I hope you get to feeling better really soon. You watch yourself super close, because it just seems to touch everybody differently. I hope that I never have to tangle with it, but I know it's because of the way it's going. It's more of a when as opposed to an if. It's just logically. I will say that I think it's funny that the Omicron also spells moronic, but I'm just, that's just the way I look at things. But I also know that if I got sick, there is literally nowhere around here that's doing any of those infusions. Like, I would have to drive 3 or 4 hours. Yes, the garlic, the onions, ginger, turmeric, honey, all that mixed together, and do a big heaping spoonful once a day. That stuff will kick your butt and kick what is ailing you out. That's why I'm empty of honey, because I have a big jar of that I've been... And let me tell you, it's hard, even as snot numb as my senses have been, it's hard to get that one spoonful down because it's potent. But it will kick it. So it's, I forget what all I put in there. It's everything that you put in there, and the turmeric, and the ginger, and the honey, and the onion, black pepper. Gosh. That may be it. It seems like I'm forgetting something. That stuff will cure what ails you, or pack you up and send you home. So I've been doing a lot of that too. And that's actually when the snot finally started subsiding, was when I mixed that up. It had to sit a couple days. And that first spoonful was... Yeah, ginger is so powerful, and people don't always think about it. We use it a lot in our diet because it's something that is so good for me to have. And so we use a lot of ginger, we use a lot of garlic just in normal cooking. And then I make that jar of that stuff, and I go through honey like nobody's business. And thank goodness we have a local place that makes local honey. And but that is one of the best helpers. Like when we got this, we were sick for 3 or 4 days, and I mixed that stuff up, and I told my husband, I said it has to sit a day or two. Literally the day after I took the first spoonful, it was coming out. It was purging out of me. Tool, 9-inch nails, love 9-inch nails. Head like a hole. I'm all about 9-inch nails. I listen to a lot of Tool. Garlic and ginger, garlic and ginger are just, you can't beat it. Those are 2 mega power foods. They do so much. That's why, as sick as I've been, I'm able to still get on here and talk to you all. Yep. Turmeric is a godsend too. Literally the holy trifecta is ginger, turmeric, and garlic. But if you start adding onions and honey and black pepper, and it just gets more and more powerful. And then you make that jar, and a jar I do, me and David, about a week and a half, and it's just 1 heaping teaspoon a day. And it's hard to get down the first couple days, but then when you start feeling it, you will feel stuff like leaving your skin. Like you will feel your body pushing stuff out, purging. And then in a couple days, like the snot that had embedded into us just started coming out. And it's been leaving ever since. It just, mine's having problems because of this mastoid fracture I have. David he's been sick, but his is coming out probably better than mine. His cough is much better than mine. But everybody else would have been, you know, running to the doctor and stuff, and it's just around here you don't have that capability, so you learn how to do all that crap on your own. I'm not gonna lie, I also cut an onion and set it in the windowsill and threw it away the next morning. Because my granny told me to do that, so I did it. My granny told me to do that since I was little, and I've done that since I was tiny. My legs hurt the other night, and I put a thing of bar soap under the sheet below my legs too. Just pure, I mean, and that's just what I heard growing up. But I felt so bad, I swear it helped. But I think it was just psychological. But I mean, I do all those things because I was raised like that, so I'll do all those things. But I definitely, through the winter, amp up on my vitamin C and elderberry and zinc. I am big time. I bump those up starting as soon as I start to feel the coolness come in on the summer breeze. I bump them things up. I just have had a crappy year because this fracture is not healing, and it's not allowing my mastoid temporal area to heal, and it's causing more congestion issues for me than I would normally have, and which is causing more health issues. But I'll build back next spring and summer. Epsom salt, and also get that clay and put in there in your bath too, and it will help you detox. What is that clay? Starts with a B. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's that clay that starts with a B that also pulls toxins out. You can put that in your, thank you. See, it takes 5 of us to have a conversation because this is how my brain works. I keep Epsom salt all the time in this house, and I keep a huge bag in the bathroom, and I keep that clay and dandelion tea. I also make dandelion jelly and honeysuckle tea and honeysuckle jelly, and that stuff's vitamin D and vitamin C, amazing. But where I was sick this year, I got to do none of that. So I literally am behind. Y'all met me on a year that I'm massively behind the curve. Massively behind the curve. So, but it's done me good to sit up and talk and to help everything drain and purge. I feel better. So maybe tomorrow we can start a craft. We'll see how we feel. Maybe tomorrow night we can do a craft. But I'm going to start that community post for our music. And if you all feel capable tomorrow evening, try to swing by, and we'll see if we can at least do one of the smaller crafts tomorrow and see how we get through it, and then maybe work up to a bigger one. Raw onion, yeah. I can't stand it on my skin, but I will set one in the room. Look, we've got people just saying howdy, and yeah, I'm as amazed at how many of you go off and build friendships away from here. And I enjoy seeing that. Everybody needs a good network. Hot showers, eucalyptus, Vicks, heat a towel. My biggest yay moment every night is I'll put Vicks on my chest, and I will heat me a towel on the stove, and then I'll hug that towel and go to bed. And that's when I feel the best, is those 5 to 10 minutes. Lamb's leaf, that's something that's not used a whole lot. We call it lamb's ear around here. You have to be real careful if you take that stuff in yourself, because to get to it's like the plant has like little silica shards on it, honest. It's what it feels like, and you have to really make sure you separate that good and wash it and make sure you get all that off there. But that stuff is so potent in tea. It's called something else too. I want to say it starts with a G, but I may be wrong. But it's so good for throat issues. Yeah, I just shortcut the Vicks. But now, there have been winter months that I have hung eucalyptus in my shower, just because when the kids were little, we just needed it. I just kept it in the shower. It just hung from the shower head. Vicks Vapor Rub, my granny made me absolutely believe that it could cure anything. So we still use it a lot. But if you don't have Vicks Vapor Rub, if you've got like Bag Balm or anything like that, and you can mix it up. If you've got like the oils that you can use, and mix you. They've got 2 or 3. One is a, oh gosh, I wish I could read the little print. It's like white something other mist, but it's got eucalyptus and something other else, and I can mix it with like Bag Balm and rub it if I don't have Vicks, and then wash it off the next morning, and it does not bother me. But you have to be careful with those oils because some of them are very potent on the skin. But now I've been running eucalyptus and I ran cinnamon the other day because it makes my nose run, and I ran cinnamon in my diffuser the other day because when I smell cinnamon, it makes my nose and eyes run, and it made me start leaking so I could get it to move, and that's how I started to get a lot of my drainage to start. Well, go out there and fight them koalas. I'm telling you, eucalyptus is worth its weight in gold. There's another one that I have, though, that I've got 3 or 4 that I go to when I feel snotty. And the writing is so small on them. I know them by their cap colors. Is that strange? That's how I am. And I'm not a huge, like, oil person, but when I get this sick, I will pull anything out. Yeah, cinnamon automatically, it just makes me start to drain. So when I get stopped up, I put that cinnamon in, and I'm on it. And I will also put cinnamon sticks in water on to boil on the stove, and then I'll hang a towel on my head over that and just steam myself because it makes my sinuses purge. Mint. I've got some mint too, but it does not work as well. It doesn't work as much. Cinnamon makes me just absolutely purge. Of course, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. It's just what works for me. But I drink these like they're going out of style. But there's other stuff that's better for you. These just taste better to me. I'm a pansy when I'm sick. I have to have something that tastes good. And I've ate about 5 gazillion of these. Well, there you go. You're doing better than I am. I need to. The last few days I've not ate very good at all. I need to eat better. That's probably the next thing that I will have to improve, because as soon as I get my energy back, I've got to eat better than what we've been eating. Now, David likes when he can order food. I don't. I would rather have something I've cooked, but it's because my gut is so particular. But I'm getting better. Seems like we're all going through some kind of crud, so at least we've all shared what works for us. And I'm fixing to go and take a hot bath and go to bed because I'm extremely tired. Veggie soup time, yeah, veggie soup, chicken broth. I crave chicken and dumplings when I'm sick. I crave chicken and dumplings. I know it's because of the bone broth I use in it. I craved broccoli the other day. Couldn't taste it, but I craved it, so I ate it. I craved it, so I ate it, but I certainly could not taste it. Yeah, bone broth is great. I mean, it's a great healer. Well, my phone is going to die, so I'm going to have to shut up, but I feel better getting on here and ranting and raving. I'm glad somebody spent some time with me and got something out of this. Tomorrow evening, we will try to do a smaller craft. So try to be back around tomorrow evening. And then we'll try to amp up to the larger crafts and get back on a normal routine so I can get Christmas underway, because it's about to catch me. If I don't get started, it's not going to happen. Yeah, just write all this down so that when you get sick, you'll have it. Maybe we'll all start seeing a little bit more sunshine and feel a little bit better in the next few weeks. I saw some sunshine today and it perked me up, so let's hope. But okay, well, I'm going to go and wash my teacup And then I'm going to go and let Oscar potty. And then I'm going to soak in the tub and go to bed. I'm also going to start a community post for our song list, though. So don't forget to post your song. And then hopefully after tonight, I'll sleep good. And tomorrow I'll feel better. And we will get back to our normal routine. I appreciate you spending time with me. The wide list of topics we discussed this evening. Seriously, it's like night school. I think everybody should be taking notes. And next time we're just gonna do a craft and have a nice little meet and greet. We're not gonna pull up the soapbox. I promise. That sucker can only hold me every, once or twice a month. And we can't make that an everyday occurrence. We will bust the poor thing. But I think it just, for some reason, it just needed to come out tonight. So I appreciate you spending time with me and joining in. And Lord, let's all pray for the Michiganders that have moved into Tennessee. Because they're about to get on my last nerve. That's what started this entire process this evening. So, that's what started the entire soapbox moment, was the poor people from Michigan. So everybody toss up a prayer. And let's hope that that family also has nothing stolen from their build site. We just don't know the ripple effects sometimes that we set into place. Sometimes we need to be more aware. But thank y'all so much for spending time with me. And I hope everybody starts to feel better, me included. And we'll meet back here tomorrow and do a check-in and see how we're doing. And we'll at least make an ornament craft tomorrow. We might attack a gnome. We'll see how I feel. There you go. Okay, y'all. Stay healthy. I'm going to go and let Oscar potty, and then I'm going to go soak and try to get rid of the bags under my eyes. Love yous all. See yous tomorrow. Mama Liz out.